It's Monday morning. I'm going to take you through a full week of Ironman training. I am less than 5 weeks out, but my training is going to start tapering down from next week from next week. So I'm going to show you, I guess, kind of like a peek in my training this week. It's Monday morning. I woke up at 10 a.m. almost. I slept for 10 hours. I had a very big brick yesterday and I did not enjoy it. Fell asleep with the recovery boots on. Had to wake up, kick them off, and move to bed. Anyway, I'm about to go for a swim. It's only a 2.2 kilometer swim. I think the swimming's already started tapering. I have very broken hair from swimming. This is not something I'm accustomed to, all the way around the bottom. Looking forward to repairing that post-race. And the swim fit, always the same, guys. Consistency. We always wear a tracksuit with the bathers underneath, of course, and the Crocs. Socks and Crocs. Okay, I've got a 30-minute run. No agenda. My pace is hovering around the 5:30 mark. I feel good. My legs feel fresh. I've been using these recovery boots and I think they worked. What a night. What a city.
The only home those boys have ever known. A home filled with memories of their father.
That basket's tough.
Just finished my bike intervals. It's an hour and 25 on the indoor trainer. I use Zwift. I have a smart trainer. It's a tax trainer. My coach makes the workouts in Training Peaks and then it automatically goes to my Zwift. So the resistance changes based on the prescribed wattage, and the prescribed wattage works off a percentage of my FTP, which I also test on the trainer. In my opinion, that's my hardest training of the week. In terms of RPE, anyway. It's late, it's 9 p.m. It's a 3.8 kilometer swim. Okay, here's what we have. 300 meter warm up, 300 meter kick drills, 300 meter arm drills with fins, 5 sets of 500 every odd set, so 1, 3, and 5. We're gonna do pull buoy and paddles. Every other set, swim. And then we go to 3x100 sprint with 30 seconds rest in between them and 100 meter cool down. Cool down. Let's go. Dean doesn't want to be in the vlog, but we just ran 5.5 kilometers. 30-minute optional run, which I opted to do today. I always do.
You know that me and Pat are going to be my guy, and I want nothing more to see that guy.
On the bike, just an easy 45-minute spin with the Stalker documentary. It's a recovery spin, so pretty easy. Nothing too hard, you know? Cruisy, just ticking the legs over. I'm on my last long run of the prep, 2 hours 45, which will also be the second longest run of my life. I've ran a marathon before. My legs feel really good. I didn't do any weights with them this week, and I think that's made the difference. Also, I've been using the recovery boots. Maybe that made a difference. I'm how far in? 52 minutes in. My parents live on separate sides of town, and they've both put drink bottles in the letterboxes for me. So that's my hydration station. Talk to you in an hour. We're at 2 hours, 12 minutes. Oh my God, 33 to go. Very thirsty, very dry. Wasn't enough day before hydration today. Feeling all right though, considering my pace is good. It's Saturday. It's supposed to be a rest day, but today's the warmest day of the week, so I'm going to do my open water swim today. It's going to be super cruisy. We're just going to do 30 minutes. I'm meeting a friend because you shouldn't swim alone. But right now I'm at the Bannockburn Market because my sister started a small business. She's got a stall. I'm going to come and support her. I don't know if it's the best place to ride. My pool swim that's remaining this week is a 1.5k swim. So I think if I swim like a K to a K and a half today in the open water, we should be all gooch. I'm at Cozy Corner in Torquay. Stunning. It's a pretty flat route. That's a hell of a hill. We are almost 3 hours in, getting it done. Bored, hot, sweaty, oily. Jesus, if I had a therapist, they'd be hearing about this bathroom. It's certainly a hover job. Halfway through a 20-minute run off the bike. I don't know where the other two get the confidence to go ahead and choose directions, because they have no idea where we are or where we're going. So I lost them. They'll catch up, they're quicker than me. Hello, coming at you from San Diego, California. It is 1 month post-race, and I just thought I would do like a little race recap, a recovery recap. In summary for my training, I did a 6-month training block. The first month, I just slowly came into it. I probably hit about 70-80% of my sessions, and then I said I'd hit it hard for the last 5 months. In that 5 months, I probably missed 3 sessions, and maybe 2 of them were an optional run anyway. I've never had a problem hitting all my sessions. I'm very much an all or nothing person. Ask me to diet and I'll cheat on it consistently. But when it comes to training, I always hit my sessions. So the training block started, I believe, at around 11 or 12 hours a week of training, and it finished at 16. The week that I just showed you is 16 hours of training. That may be a little bit harder to fit into your life than it sounds, because, for example, a 40 or 50-minute swim is really half an hour driving to the pool, like packing a bag, writing my workout down, and then half an hour driving home, showering, washing my hair, hanging up all my bathers, rinsing a wetsuit, whatever you need to do. So it's extremely time consuming. There's so much washing. Like, you have to wash at least 3 full outfits a day, maybe 4, just to be going to work, training, sleeping, hanging out, whatever else you do. In terms of the race itself, there's not very much to report, really. I was just really slow. Everything was slower than I thought. My preparation was perfect. Everything went well in that regard. I was just slow. During my ride and my run, I sort of had some regrets about the intensity with which I had trained. That I feel like I cruised through a lot of my training and didn't push myself a lot, and was just happy to do the time kind of thing. It was quite windy on the day of the race, so the bike was a little bit harder than I thought, but I was still a little bit quicker than what I normally ride in training. And to put in perspective where my mindset was at on the run, first of all, it just felt like it went forever. It felt like time was going backwards. Every time I looked at my watch, it felt like I hadn't progressed since the last time I looked at my watch. And at one point, I had about 10 kilometers to go. I looked at my watch and I thought, I'm going pretty slow. I actually feel pretty good. I think it's pretty low risk now to up the pace for the last 10 kilometers and get it done. And then I thought, nah. I'll just stay where I am. So my goal was just to finish it. I didn't have a time goal. It took me 14 hours and 49 minutes to complete. But the good news about that is that Gen Pop people who don't know triathlon are actually usually more impressed by a slower time. I tell people the distance, they're like, wow, that's amazing. I tell people how long it took me and they're like, oh my God, 15 hours. Like, they can put that into perspective better, I think, than they can put into perspective the distances, especially when you're talking to Americans who work in miles anyway. Would I do another one? Absolutely fucking not. I wouldn't. I'm really glad I did the first one. No regrets. It was the most amazing experience, and it's really cool that for the rest of my life, no one can take that away from me, that I've done that. But I thought, for me personally, the distances and the volume was at a point where it felt like it was doing more damage to my body than it was improving my health. So my knees were really sore after really long runs. My back and knees were sore after really long rides. Let's talk about the recovery, because it wasn't at all what I expected. I expected my feet to be completely covered in blisters, like bleeding. They weren't that bad at all. I've had 15K runs where they were worse than that. I expected my knees to be the limiting factor. I thought I'd be walking because of my knees on the marathon. I did hardly any walking on the marathon. My knees were sore, but they were very, very bearable. Every time I went to walk, I'd go, oh, this is actually harder. This is actually hurting more. And I'd go back to like a really slow jog. I was running so slow, guys. if you want to see, you can follow me on Strava. I haven't posted a lot since because I don't want to fucking do any of this shit ever again. I even sold my bike over there. I didn't even bring my bike back because I was just so adamant I didn't want to do this. In terms of the recovery, so that night, there's two things I can always do. I can always eat and I can always sleep. And I couldn't do either. So that night I had they had Bain Marie's with hot food at the finish line. I had maybe a dozen chips and that's all I could really stomach. I didn't want anything else. I didn't have anywhere near enough water or electrolytes or anything afterwards. I stayed really hydrated during the race though. But I just did not feel like food. I just felt so sick and so bloated. My stomach was out here. My stomach was in physical pain from just the electrolytes, the shit, the liquid. You're just eating sugar and caffeine all day for 15 hours. Horrific. And then I got home and I was honestly just too tired to eat. I had a shower, I washed my hair and I went to bed, but my back was just too sore to sleep. I couldn't stop thinking about how much pain my back was in. So I think my back was painful for two reasons. One was the obvious, being in this position on the bike for so long. This is just not a good position for your back to be in. But then I feel like it was amplified by carrying my arms in the run. It's a long time to be carrying your arms. So my back was, I was trying to sleep like this, nothing felt good. The next 3 days, I would basically try and eat something. I'd be starving, I was so hungry. And so I'd buy whatever I wanted. I'm doesn't matter, don't worry about nutrition right now, just worry about fuel, just get it in or your body's never gonna recover. So I would order whatever I felt like, world's my oyster. And whatever came, I would enjoy the first 2 mouthfuls and then I would feel sick and then throw the rest out. And that went on for at least 3 days. So then I went into a 4-day fast and I just had 0 calories for 4 days and I felt much, much better after that. When I started eating again, I was all good. But that week I sold one of my properties before I left for the race and it settled 6 days after my race. So I had 5 days to move house and I was almost bedridden. I was very unwell, I felt very sick, I felt very tired, and I wasn't sleeping a lot. So the week after was more rough than I thought. And my advice to you would be, if you work full time, to do what you can to take time off after the race. I think it's more important than taking time off before the race. Another regret that I have is not upgrading my bike. I was just a tight ass. I knew, I'm very fortunate to be in a position where I could have bought a fairly decent, even just a $4,000 triathlon bike, I think would have made a huge difference. I was on a $1,700, very old specialized bike. And I just think it would have made the experience a lot nicer and probably a lot easier if I was on a better bike. So I did regret that, but by the time I decided that I'd made a mistake, I felt like it was too late. I had 4 or 5 big long rides left and I just wanted to do it on a bike that I knew, that I was used to, that I'd trained on. So I just left it. And I regret that deeply. You know what, they have resale value. Whatever you spend on a bike, you're gonna get it back. So if you're in a position to, I would recommend getting, just the newer the bike is, the smoother it's going to be. I feel like an older bike just leaks watts. The plan from here, for the last month, I've just been doing CrossFit and I'm just loving going in, having all my training done in an hour, being told what to do, not having to worry about my programming or anything like that. So that's what I'm going to be doing for a little while. And I've been doing a tiny bit of running, just really, really, really slow running. I also wanted to mention that if you're interested in doing a triathlon of any length, my favorite length, I think, is the half Ironman. I still felt a great sense of achievement when I had done the half Ironman, and I feel like it was way less impact on my body, way less impact on my lifestyle, which is important, less daunting, not the race itself, but the training. There'd be days where I had a 6-hour bike ride and then a 20-minute run off the bike. And I'd be on the 6-hour bike ride, I'd be 4.5 hours in. And one day I was on the brink of tears. I was I just want to go home. My back hurts so much. I just don't want to be in this TT position anymore. Why am I doing this? My nutrition would be hot in the bottles and I was just sculling warm, thick, gluggy bottles of sugar and caffeine and electrolytes, and I just wanted to go home. But I never had that feeling with the half Ironman. So my biggest advice, however, is to follow a program. Yes, this is a plug. My company, Indie Performance, we program for strength, endurance, and also for nutrition. I think the nutrition made a huge difference. I probably nailed my nutrition better with the half Ironman, and I think I felt a lot better for it. But if you're interested in having a customized program, Jen, our endurance coach, she has done 15 Ironmans. She's from the US, she lives in Costa Rica, and this is her passion. This is all she's ever done. Her whole life is Ironman. So she's extremely equipped. She's extremely qualified. She has 2 degrees. She's incredible. She's an incredible coach. And I just really felt like she genuinely cared. She coached me. And I just felt like she was jumping on calls and she really cared about the wins and the losses. And I could tell her anything. There was a couple of runs where I would go for a run and I would get diarrhea, and I rang her and I was like, this is starting to panic me. I can't have this on race day. She gave me all these suggestions to circumnavigate that, and they worked, and we solved the problem together. So I think having a coach, definitely, it's just a really scary thing to go in blind on, especially when it comes to nutrition and electrolytes. I would have no idea where to start to fuel a 15-hour race. I have a powerlifting background. For those of you who don't know, before COVID, I was a professional powerlifter and I had done no cardio whatsoever. I didn't know how to program. I thought you would swim, bike, run once each per week. I thought it was going to be like 3 to 4 training sessions. I had no idea. So it's a really difficult thing to go in blind on. I couldn't really find many programs online, but I think having someone there to ask the trivial questions too about transition day, and she gave me a whole checklist on things to make sure that I had in each bag: the transition 1 bag, the transition 2 bag, things to put on my bike, things to bring on the trip, like everything. So yeah, having a coach was absolutely invaluable. In summary, the whole thing, the training and the race itself, an incredible experience, like just a really cool thing to have done. I think in the industry, people like me are a little bit frowned upon, like the one and done bucket listers. I will not do a full distance ever again. Please laugh at me in the comments if it turns out that I do. But my plan is to move on to something else. And every time swim, bike, run comes up in conversation, it's just really cool to be able to relate and bring up this amazing thing that I did this one time. And I didn't have a time goal. As I said, I didn't push myself that fucking hard. And it was still just this phenomenal, incredible experience. So I highly recommend it. Like I said, no one can take it away from me. It's there forever now. A really cool thing and I feel really accomplished. And it's also just like not lost on me how amazing those distances are. Doing them so frequently didn't take away from my perception of how far they are. I really do think that the distances that I covered are incredible. I thought they were incredible the first time I heard them, and I think they're just as incredible now that I have done it. Although part of me thinks that if I can do it, anyone can, because I'm not a cardio gal. I didn't enjoy a lot of the training. I don't like swimming or biking. I really hate cycling, but I don't mind running. And I will say the swimming did grow on me. But I think the swimming only grew on me because they were so short, like 30 to an hour 30 in the pool was just so much more tolerable than, you know, a 5-hour bike ride, a 3-hour bike ride, a 3-hour run. So I think that's why I like the swimming. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'd love to answer them. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Strava if you want to check it out. I found it quite stimulating following other people who are at a similar level to me, and because I'm not a super elite Iron woman by any means, maybe it'll be interesting for you to follow me. So follow me on Strava. If I'm not active on there, shoot me a DM and tell me to accept your request. Thank you for watching.